which the campaign says suggested improper ties between it and Russia, it and North Korea, or both. The complaint filed on Tuesday focused on alleged false and defamatory statements published last June 13th by Greg Sargent and June 20th by Paul Waldman. Both write for the Post's Plumline blog. The campaign says no one associated with it or the White House ever invited those countries to assist in 2019 or 2020. It added that no one has reported any contact between the campaign and North Korea concerning any U.S. election. The lawsuit was filed just 6 days after it filed a separate libel lawsuit against the New York Times. This time over an opinion piece it said falsely suggested a quid pro quo between Russian officials and Trump's 2016 campaign. Both lawsuits escalate the president's long-running battle with news media he says show bias against him. Trump's campaign is seeking millions of dollars in damages.
And the latest numbers for the tornadoes that devastated Tennessee on Tuesday show at least 24 people dead, and many are still missing as the state undergoes cleanup efforts.
The latest numbers show that the tornadoes that spun through Tennessee left at least 24 people dead. The tornadoes hit Nashville and surrounding counties early on Tuesday, March 3rd. Many are still missing. Homes and businesses were destroyed, even as voters throughout the state cast ballots in the Super Tuesday presidential primary. A Tennessee resident describes the moment one of the tornadoes ripped through his home.
It's like a freight train, whirlwind, explosive sound. And it was through fast. I mean, it seemed a long time, but after it went through, it went through pretty fast.
Nashville is home to more than 690,000 people and one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. The storm struck there as many were sleeping.
Back home, there were some family friends that they found them laying in the bed together with the house collapsed on top of them.
President Trump plans to visit the state on Friday. Trump tweeted that the federal government offers full support, saying, "The USA stands with the people of Tennessee 100%, whatever they need." The tornadoes were of record size and velocity. The National Weather Service says 8 tornadoes reportedly touched down in Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky, but that number could change. It is not yet clear how many landed in Nashville.
And in a rare example of bipartisan cooperation, a $7.5 billion coronavirus bill is almost finalized. Part of the funding will ensure the eventual vaccine is affordable.
Lawmakers are finalizing a $7.5 billion emergency bill to fund the government's response to the coronavirus. Both parties agree they need to work quickly, but quickly isn't common in today's Washington.
Very optimistic we're going to come together on a bicameral, bipartisan basis with a package.
It's expected to enjoy support from both the White House and the president's GOP allies on Capitol Hill. The $7.5 billion package is triple what President Trump requested. Senator Chuck Schumer says the president's original request for funds was too low.
And we all believe that we will have a bill passed and on the president's desk by the end of this week.
He boasted that the final figure is closer to what he recommended last week, an $8.5 billion plan. The draft legislation will speed up development and production of a coronavirus vaccine and help make it affordable. The vaccine may take up to a year to be ready. The bill also covers response efforts by state and local governments, as well as foreign countries.
And a bipartisan group of senators led by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer strongly urged British lawmakers to reject China's Huawei yesterday. They want it excluded entirely from its 5G networks.
The British House of Commons is set Wednesday morning to debate the decision by the United Kingdom's National Security Council to allow Huawei equipment in periphery networks while banning the company's equipment from more secure networks. In a letter sent to members of Parliament on Tuesday night, a bipartisan group of senators underlined national security risks created through use of the company's equipment, asking them to revisit their country's decision on Huawei. The letter was signed by 1/5 of the 100-member Senate, including Richard Burr, the Republican chairman of the Intelligence Committee, and Mark Warner, the panel's Democratic vice chairman. A bipartisan group of 42 members of the U.S. House of Representatives sent a similar letter in January. Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision in January to allow Huawei a limited role in its 5G mobile network has put pressure on the traditionally close U.S. relationship. The two countries are preparing to negotiate a trade deal that Britain hopes will be one of the biggest prizes from its departure from the European Union. Washington has sought to convince allies to bar the Chinese company from their networks, warning that its equipment could be used by its regime for spying.
And in other news, the U.S. Justice Department charged 2 Chinese nationals with laundering more than $100 million in cryptocurrency on behalf of North Korea. Court filings detail Pyongyang's use of hackers to circumvent sanctions.
According to an indictment filed in federal court, Shen Yun and Li Jiadong allegedly laundered cryptocurrency stolen by North Korean hackers. Taking place between December 2017 and April 2019, they helped to hide the stolen currency from police. U.S. court documents allege that Tian and Li sent roughly 2,500 deposits with over $67 million in stolen funds to 9 Chinese banks. Tian and Li are not in U.S. custody and are assumed by U.S. authorities to be in China. In a related civil forfeiture complaint, Justice Department said they had seized some of the roughly $250 million that North Korean hackers stole from a virtual currency exchange in 2018. Those funds were then laundered through hundreds of automated transactions designed to prevent investigators from tracing the funds. The same North Korean hackers were linked to a November 2019 attack on a South Korean virtual exchange that netted the hackers more than $48 million in stolen cryptocurrency. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said the United States will continue to protect the global financial system by holding accountable those who helped North Korea engage in cybercrime.
And still to come, the Chinese regime is spreading coronavirus rumors overseas, this time to scare people away from a dance show it doesn't want you to see.
I think it's absolutely fantastic.
I don't know how you would not enjoy this.
It's like a painting coming to life.
I laughed, I cried, I was so touched.
The scenes, the sets, the costumes.
The dancing, the choreographing, the music, everything was just spectacular.
There's no words for it.
It's just heavenly.
This was the best ever.
The dancers, your mouth just drops, you're like, wow, this is just beautiful to watch.
The technique is flawless, really, it is.
The skill and the talent on the stage are jaw-dropping.
They perform in perfect unison. They're just stunning.
The actual ambiance of the background, there was always the beautiful landscape, and it was so colorful.
I find the music amazing.
The orchestra, the instruments, it was really brilliant. So moving and so powerful and uplifting.
The idea of everybody coming from a celestial place. It's all beauty and truth and light. It's very emotional.
It gives me inspiration.
True blessing to be here and witness it all.
If somebody wants to know about China, there's nothing better than seeing Shen Yun.
Shen Yun is definitely something you cannot describe.
It's something you have to see to believe.
It's a must-see.
And I would recommend this to all my friends.
Don't wait. Get your tickets now.
As the CDC ramps up efforts to contain the spread of the coronavirus in the U.S., what's the situation like inside China? Our reporter Tiffany Meyer brings us the details.
China's top officials urged local authorities to do everything they can to help companies resume production. Employees in Beijing and Shanghai slowly trickled back to work. More companies are restarting their businesses, and coronavirus travel restrictions are easing in China. But not all employees are willing to go back to work. A survey of 577 companies in China conducted by the European Union Chamber of Commerce and the German Chamber of Commerce found almost half of the companies reported staff shortages, and almost a third are struggling with compliance requirements. According to our source in China, most of the companies that resumed work are those closely related to basic necessities, such as food and medicine. As to the real estate branch, only very few companies have resumed work. So who takes on the responsibility of the health of the employees? One Chinese businessman told our reporter many factories in China hired workers as short-term workers, although they work there long-term. These factories want to avoid taking responsibility for the rights of the workers. And under the risk of being infected with the coronavirus at the workplace, the employees have to rely on themselves. Now to the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, Wuhan. A doctor, Mei Zhongming, who worked in the same team as the whistleblower doctor, Li Wenliang, has also died from the coronavirus. He died on Tuesday. That's according to a statement from the Wuhan Central Hospital. He's the third doctor to die as a result of the coronavirus in this hospital. The battle against the coronavirus is by far not over yet. Another threat could be on its way to China. The country could face an invasion of desert locusts. Chinese authorities warn locust swarms could enter the Tibet region from Pakistan and India, or the southwestern province of Yunnan through Myanmar, depending on climate conditions. Swarms could also fly across Kazakhstan and into China's Xinjiang region. The desert locusts have already ravaged crops and pastures in several countries in East Africa, and swarms have spread into India and Pakistan. The UN's Food and Agricultural Organization said a single square kilometer, almost 250-acre swarm of locusts can eat as much food in a day as 35,000 people, and warned last month if left unchecked, the number of locusts in East Africa could explode by 500 times by June.
And the Chinese regime is apparently capitalizing on the coronavirus to spread rumors here in the United States. The rumors are designed to scare people away from watching a dance company.
Recently, the New York-based classical Chinese dance company Shen Yun found itself the target of rumors about the coronavirus. The rumors claim Shen Yun performers are infected with the virus and advise people not to go see the show. Health authorities in Utah, where Shen Yun performed last week, told the Epoch Times that they were aware of misinformed rumors. Officials posted on Facebook and Twitter that the performances pose no risks to Utah residents, and that Shen Yun is based in New York City, not China. In a press release, the company said that in fact Shen Yun is not even allowed to perform in China.
It takes a mind.
That's because performers are effectively banned from China the moment they join the company. Shen Yun was founded by practitioners of Falun Gong, a spiritual movement that's severely persecuted in China. On stage, the show depicts 5,000 years of Chinese culture. The Chinese Communist Party has attempted to destroy that culture through one political movement after another. The show also depicts scenes of persecution from modern-day China. Since Shen Yun was founded in 2006, Chinese agents have tried to sabotage the company. Tour bus tires have been slashed, performers' family members in China are harassed by police, and wherever the company performs around the world, the local Chinese embassy often pressures the theater to cancel the show or makes anonymous calls bad-mouthing the company. This time, local health officials in Utah say they've received phone calls allegedly from people worried about the rumors. Shen Yun's ticketing office has as well. Shen Yun MC Li Shai Lamesh told the Epoch Times that what's interesting about the callers is that many have strong Chinese accents and some quickly become aggressive. Shen Yun will return to Salt Lake City on March 21st for another 4 shows.
We loved it as an audience.
China, it would be nice if they were a little more open to seeing this kind of thing.
Reporting by Penny Zhou, NTD News.
And still to come, what does Brexit mean for restaurants, hotels and factories in the UK? Hear about one restaurant owner's struggle after the break.
When you look at TV networks in America, a soundbite and fight-it-out culture prevails on news and commentary programs. As a Canadian, I'm fascinated with America, and I wanted to offer American thought leaders an opportunity to share their thoughts in a deep dive format, where we can explore their ideas together. And so American Thought Leaders was born. The world's most brilliant thinkers believed that open discourse was the key to greatness. However, all around the world, we see that discourse is being stifled and political agendas have subverted media. The Epoch Times launched its Global Thought Leaders program to bring back this great tradition of free thought. As the host of American Thought Leaders, every week I interview some of the most intriguing minds on the most pressing issues of our time. Be sure to check out our new episodes every week.
Our investigative reporters at the Epoch Times have spent 18 months uncovering the biggest political scandal in modern history. We connected the dots around Spygate, the actions by Obama-era officials against Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Join me on Declassified as we bring you up-to-date developments on this unfolding scandal.
A Polish chef worries about finding enough trained staff for his restaurant in post-Brexit Britain. The 40-year-old says he will need to raise prices to meet a new UK minimum wage for foreign nationals.
Before dinner service at Damian Wozniak's restaurant, he is busy preparing dishes inspired by his home country, Poland. He came to Britain 16 years ago and has worked as a head chef at the London Olympics and cooked for members of the royal family. These days, however, he is worrying about finding enough trained staff for his restaurant after the UK government announced new post-Brexit immigration plans for EU nationals.
If the proposal will go through, we're going to have issues to find the staff, which we already have, but we're going to be probably near to impossible to get employ new, let's say, baker to head chef or chef, because we won't be able to afford it.
Under the new rules, people from the European Union will no longer have the automatic right to work in Britain. Instead, to qualify, migrants will have to meet certain criteria such as specific skills and receive a job offer with a salary of at least £25,600. That's more than $32,000. This will end an era of cheap labour from the EU in restaurants, hotels and factories. Supporters of tougher immigration rules say the large pool of EU workers meant earnings for Brits stagnated. Concern over high levels of immigration was one of the key drivers behind Britain's 2016 vote to leave the bloc. Since then, annual immigration from continental Europe has fallen by more than half. For Wozniak, he is still looking for a chef for his restaurant. Until he finds someone to fill the vacancy, he will have to come in at 6 a.m. every morning to do the job.
And the largest transit system in North America is wiping down its trains in response to the coronavirus. Despite the low risk in New York, the MTA says it's doing whatever it can to keep riders safe. NTD's Miguel Moreno has more from Manhattan.
So far, 2 cases of the novel coronavirus have been confirmed in New York. And although the risk of infection here is low, the MTA is giving its subway stations, trains, and buses a good cleaning daily.
And we think it will do 2 things. It will decrease the presence of viruses, both the COVID-19 and others, on our facilities, but it will also give passengers, our customers, a sense that we're doing everything we can.
MTA officials added that there doesn't appear to be any changes in ridership amid news of the virus and that people should carry on with their lives. Outside, a few people said they're not worried, but the sanitation efforts wouldn't hurt.
Really, like, it couldn't hurt. If you're asking me if I'm concerned about it, I'm not really that concerned about the coronavirus.
The mindfulness, like taking some type of initiative, like my friend said, is a good step, but I don't think it's like a cure-all.
This gentleman with the mask on said he wasn't taking any chances and that the MTA's plan would help a bit.
It will help a little, just a little.
The MTA will also make periodic announcements in its subways, giving its customers basic suggestions on how to avoid spreading it. The chairman said all frequently used surfaces would be sanitized every 3 days. Miguel Moreno, NTD News, New York.
And still to come, the world's largest cheese contest is underway with a record number of entries, but not everyone can attend. Find out who can't come because of the coronavirus when we return.
Viewers have described China Uncensored like The Daily Show, but about China.
In China, something can be illegal, but still in common practice. For example, bribery, or intellectual property theft, or Uber.
At the beginning, I was super excited when I got 500 views, and now the show's grown to about 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. One episode reached 7.9 million people and counting. I'm a little freaked out that many people have seen my face.
Hey, have you heard of China Uncensored? It's starring me.
It's more and more obvious that China is having a major influence on the U.S.
Hey, have you heard of China Uncensored? 中国揭秘. In 5 years, I see China Uncensored as the only show on TV or the internet. It will be the sole source of edutainment worldwide. Have you heard of China Uncensored?
Yeah, I have.
You actually have? He's heard of China Uncensored.
I love China Uncensored.
The number of coronavirus cases in Japan has now hit 1,000, but officials for the Tokyo Olympics say the Games will still go ahead as scheduled.
The number of coronavirus cases in Japan hit 1,000 on Wednesday, further fueling concerns that the Tokyo Olympics will be affected. While over 700 of the country's cases are from the Diamond Princess cruise ship, the newest case was the first found in the far western prefecture of Yamaguchi. It's stoking fears that the virus is spreading to all corners of Japan. And with just 5 months to go before Tokyo's Summer Olympics, the host city has seen 40 cases. However, at least for now, International Olympic Committee spokesperson Mark Adams said on Tuesday that the Games will proceed as scheduled.
As you know, there's not even an international travel ban and still not a pandemic announced. All the advice we're getting is that the Games can and will go ahead.
But if things get worse, what options does Japan have? A top official says the Games could be postponed. On Tuesday, Japan's Olympics minister, Seiko Hashimoto, said that Tokyo's contract with the IOC allows the Olympics to be pushed back until the end of the year. The contract states that they're to be held within the year 2020. However, the right to cancel the Games entirely still belongs to the IOC.
And the biennial World Championship cheese contest is underway in Wisconsin, but one judge from Japan can't attend because of the coronavirus.
This is the world's largest cheese competition, and yogurt and butter and dry dairy ingredients. Really, it's a full-blown dairy competition.
With a record number of over 3,500 entries from 26 nations around the world's largest cheese competition started Tuesday in Wisconsin. The 55 judges are cheese experts. They taste, sniff, and inspect more than 130 classes of dairy products.
So I'm pulling the plug up, get a good smell. Sometimes that gives you the best indication of what the cheese is going to taste like. It kind of whispers its secrets to you.
Judges include cheese graders, cheese buyers, dairy science professors, and researchers from 19 nations and 14 states. One judge and 30 people from a Japanese university could not attend as a result of travel restrictions due to coronavirus. There will be extra hand washing stations and hand sanitizers for judges as a precaution, but the virus is not expected to affect the competition otherwise. This year's winner will be announced Thursday.
And today is March 4th. It's also literally the day to March 4th. That's because it's Marching Music Day. If this special day doesn't ring a bell, that may well be because it was only created in 2017. Drum Corps International founded Marching Music Day to help celebrate Music in Our Schools Month. March 4th was chosen for its play on words. The day celebrates all varieties of art forms that bring us music on the move. And that's all the latest updates for now. Thanks for tuning in. Catch up again at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time.